anytime you asked me, do they work here? And that was the only place I had to be on a gray line a little bit. And I said, no. And in my defense, I've never actually seen you work. Welcome to Property Management Uncensored. I am your host, Phil Kazmierzak. Today we have a very special podcast for you. We have a special guest. It's anonymous. I kept it under wraps. There are now 3 people who know who this guest is. So right now, without further ado, we are going to bring in our special guest. Special guest, come on in. Can you open the door? Oh, I'm just kidding. You're not our special guest. Our guest today is Giorgio Valentini. He is our marketing director here at Atlantic Sotheby's International Realty. He has no idea that he is on the podcast today. Come on, Giorgio, step on up.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Mess up the entire production.
I know. This is so much fun for me. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love me right now?
We'll talk about that later, Phil. That'll come at a later time.
So, that's fine.
The repercussions are going to be amazing, though.
That's fine. Because I can you imagine the amount of Asana tasks I'm going to add after this?
They're green, by the way. They're green.
We'll see about that.
Calling me out in the last podcast for it.
I know. I forgot about that. I did do that. And Samantha, thanks for playing along. Because I had to act like I was texting someone and ready for someone to come in.
Do you know how many people I have been asking around the office?
Yes, I do.
And even Michael. So do you know who it is? He goes, I have this feeling it might be you. But I'm like going,
So I did put a big hint on the slate here, which says John Doe, MD. The MD is marketing director.
Yes, I figured that once. And what did I tell you as soon as you put that MD after that?
Yeah.
Glad I showered.
That's right. That's right. So I figured you were getting close to it, but maybe not quite there. So most important question, everything falls on marketing, regardless of whatever is going on. So how's the building expansion coming?
It's fantastic. I mean, July 29th came and went, and we're still golden.
It's wonderful. And we talk about this because I give Giorgio a hard time for everything, because everything revolves around marketing, or marketing has a hand in everything at some point, whether it
comes through us in some sort of fashion, some sort of way. It's either our success or our fault.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's 100%.
It's like it can be my goal, my rock, whatever. But I need marketing to do these 3 things before I can really, do my aspect of it. And I'm the one accountable for it. So it always comes back to marketing.
I love it. I love it because we hold ourselves accountable for it. And I think that our team, our leadership team, is just so, I guess, we're just such good friends.
Right.
And we just give each other such a hard time about anything and everything.
All the time.
All the time, 100% all the time. Even if there's nothing to give a hard time about, it's like we find something, to completely just harass the other person about.
I didn't have to do this anonymously. I could have said, hey, Giorgio, do you want to be on the podcast next time? And that's no fun for me.
No, exactly. See, this is
no fun for me.
See, this is a good thing.
A bully.
Yeah. Workplace bullying.
So, we're fortunate. We are a good-sized brokerage. We have a phenomenal marketing department. And in property management, we have the option to do the same type of marketing for our rentals as we do on the real estate sales side. I do the postcards, we do the Matterport tours, obviously the professional photography, all that stuff. Why is marketing so important, whether it's a sale or a rental?
Well, we're the ones who get the word out. If you think about it, you can do everything inside and do all the business and work and everything, but if nobody really knows about it, then what good is it? We do all the marketing, the postcards, the digital, social media, the video, every single message that you think about in regards to getting that message out. We're the connection to the outside world, if you think about it.
Right.
That's really the way that I've always looked at it from any stance, any industry that I've worked with, everything. If you don't have marketing in place, if you don't have a good marketing structure, there's no way for the public to know about it, and therefore the revenue and so forth, that just falls in part of it.
Why did you go into marketing? Because I mean, you've been doing this for a while.
Over 25 years. I went to school for mass communications. So funny story.
Okay.
There's a story to this. I've told this. It's funny. So I was kind of a nerd when I went to high school. And so I said, you know what, let's go. Remember, this is the 80s, Phil. This is before you were born.
Look, in school, I majored in a lot of things that were not academics.
Yeah. Well, well, I started out in soccer, and then I got hurt. And then I went into the other side, the nerdy side. And so I started doing computer math, computer science. I got into programming this was 1987. And so I started learning programming and so forth and so on. Well, I said, you know what? If I'm pretty good at this, or I feel like I'm pretty good at this, I'm going to go and study computer science in school. So I got in. I went to Virginia Wesleyan College. And I got in and started taking all the courses, found out there was so much math involved. And I said, the heck with this. And I literally went through the college handbook and I chose the major that had the least amount of math. Mass communications get a D+ in remedial algebra. Guess who got their D+? And so with that, it was actually the best decision that I made because it was my professors and the teachers that I had. I studied mass communications with a specialization in marketing, advertising, and market research. And so I enjoyed it. I started really getting into it. This was pre-internet, keep in mind. This is pre-everything. And then I was able to really get into graphic design. I started kind of enjoying with the platforms at the time. And after I graduated in the 90s, I had some other odd jobs that really weren't marketing related, but I got the opportunity to work with a print shop. And the print shop really taught me the logistics of print marketing, formatting, all the software. Mm-hmm. And then I went after that, I was able to get a job at the newspaper for a magazine. I started doing graphic design. I started doing all the ads. And then after that, I just started progressively just teaching myself because at the same time, I did a lot of freelance work. And the freelance work, I taught myself the website design, all of the back end things that I needed to grow. Mm-hmm. So eventually, this was just kind of a labor of love that I just started really enjoying what I do. And it got to the point where I was a jack of all trades and, master of few. But I enjoyed what really was the bare bones about it was really just the fact that you're getting a message out to people. And, that was really that connection. And I'm kind of good with people, kind of an outgoing kind of person. Right. And I think that everything just fit together, and just to be able to do this is literally fun. I mean, it's not even a job for me.
It is fun. We have a lot of fun here, as you said earlier. Yeah. College is an interesting time. I know when I was about to go to college back in 2002, slightly after when you went to college.
Slightly, yeah.
I was going to major in business, and then, like you, I realized how much math was involved in my subject.
Isn't math the great denominator? Is it the equalizer, isn't it?
I enjoyed geometry so much I took it twice. So, because you had to test into it. When I went to from a regular middle school from high school into college, you had to test into it, and I did not do well, so I had to do it again.
Yeah. See, look, my SATs were like I was like, the college was like, we do need an out-of-state student with a foreign name that needs to fill the spot. And so I was like, hey, come on in. I think that I succeeded in writing my name down and getting like 3 answers right. And then when I was like, hey, I got a 960 on my SAT, my wife goes, I got like a 1300. Oh, you mean you could go higher? And so I was like, I from that point on, I knew that I was destined for greatness.
Yeah, I'm sure. So you've been in marketing for a while. You've seen the trends. What are current trends in marketing?
Video.
Everything is video.
Everything is video. And the reason video is really important is because it gets the most views. Look, on social, when you're on social, what do? You doom scroll.
Yep.
You're going through TikTok, your Instagram, and all you're doing is just watching videos. But those are the ones that really, really get all the views.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime that you have a static post, now there's nothing wrong with static posts on your social or whatever, but everything's about reels. Everything is about your YouTube videos, all the platforms that they play on. And if you couple that with effective marketing of all types, then that's really what connects everything. So really the trend right now is digital shorts, digital reels, YouTube, And that's really where the market is going.
How do you keep up with the trends? Like, how do you know what's coming next?
I doom scroll.
So same as everyone else, you're laying in bed and on TikTok.
It's all it is. And, it's funny because a lot of it is you look at new stuff that people are doing, and Grant, our videographer, by the way, kudos to Grant because he's the one that allows us to be able to be seen because he's the videographer, and he's been doing such a great job on all the videos and so forth. But there'll be times that I'll send Grant like a Instagram, like a DM, and I'll say, we need to try this, or we need to do this. Wouldn't it be cool if we did this? And then he brings me back down to reality because there's like scheduling and practicality of it and so forth. But a lot of the ideas are just like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we did this? Wouldn't it be cool? And that's really how a lot of the stuff is I keep up with is if let's try this, but let's put an innovative spin on it. Mm-hmm. And I tell my entire department, whatever it is that you do, try and do it a step better than anybody else does it. Mm-hmm. And that's really kind of what drives me is to find out new technologies and new trends is really just about finding new stuff to do it and doing it differently, better, and having fun at it.
Yeah, if you look at our videos, and I just saw one that one of our agents, Aaron Brown, posted today.
That's great.
It was a Halloween-themed listing of a business. It was, and the real estate that goes along with it, of course, but it was an incredible video. It looked like they had so much fun in it.
And a lot of it is the agents go in there with a already kind of like, this is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And those are really the fun ones with they go in and they say, hey, let's do this, let's this. It makes Grant's job a lot easier also because he's just like, hey, I'm just ready to roll. You do your thing.
Right.
But along with his coaching and his directing of the video, the agents are having so much fun. And ever since we started doing these videos, I'm seeing okay, this person did it this way. Now I need to step it up. I want to do this now.
Yeah.
And so it's become this challenge that everybody wants to outdo the previous video. And but you're absolutely right. This one that we just posted on there, and if you go to our Sotheby's and YouTube page and on their socials, you'll see it. It's Halloween themed. It's a restaurant in downtown Norfolk, and it just had all the right notes on it. It was great.
It's fantastic. Even, and I am going to pat myself on the back a little bit. I think when we kicked off this podcast, it really started the creative juices for a lot of agents when they saw the intro video that we did for this, the one with Samantha originally. Does anyone notice, like in the one scene when she's running down the street with a fire extinguisher, she has toilet paper.
And the toilet paper on her high heel. Yeah. I think we were discussing that, right? We were discussing that, and they said, wouldn't it be a good idea if you're like, dressed, everything's right with all this stuff, and you've got some toilet paper hanging off your heel. And I think that it was like Sam goes, let's do it.
Absolutely. And that was so much fun to shoot because I think obviously Grant, our videographer, shot it. And I think we did the whole thing in 30, 45 minutes?
You know what was laughing? I was telling him, it's like, how many people have Ring doorbells and are just watching this happen in front of their house? And it's like, what is going on? It's and behind the scenes, because nobody really knows the premise, you see people running with a whole bunch of stuff and flipping signs and stuff, and with somebody chasing them with a camera.
Right.
Which I'm just thinking people on their Ring doorbells are thinking, they're just rewinding this and showing it to their friends. Did you see this? One day it's going to happen. They're going to see the video and they're going to see what's on their Ring doorbells. And that's when I think it's really going to go.
We should drop it. And advertise it,
because that happened right here in the neighborhood, right next door.
Absolutely.
And we should just
advertise that video right there.
We should just do a YouTube radius of it and just drop it right in there, and people are just going to start seeing it. Recognize this? Recognize what's going on?
It's filmed on your street, right in front of your house. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. So, why is marketing so important? Why is good marketing important? So there's a lot of bad marketing. I shouldn't say bad marketing, because there's agents that are absolutely doing their best. They're not great with technology. They're doing a home tour and it's them with their iPhone or whatever it is they're walking around with, and it's just basic.
Yes.
So why is it important to do better?
We have a brand that we need to think about. The Sotheby's brand is very unique. It's elegant. It's upscale, but at the same time, we know our stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's really where we're trying to do, is that we are trying to get hold that benchmark. You know what I'm saying? And so what's going on is that if we don't have that level of marketing out there that represents our brand, we're going to be in, we're just going to, I don't want to say, and I don't want to call anybody else out basic. Okay.
Right.
But we're just going to be like everybody else.
Yeah. We don't want to be basic.
No, exactly. And that's the reason why I said earlier, I want to be able to be a little bit better, be a step up, and so forth and so on.
Right. If you could only use one social media platform to advertise for the rest of your life, what would it be? Assuming it's still there, because MySpace is the wrong answer.
Oh, you mean Snapchat's out?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just thinking here right now that the best platform right now out there is definitely YouTube. Meta, Instagram, everything is out there. But YouTube has this really cool thing where if you post something on there, there's a lot of platforms out there that utilize the YouTube platform. Mm-hmm. So that means it'll play on your little handheld video games that you're playing, your Farmville. I don't even know if that's even a thing.
I don't know.
But we had an agent that we shot one of his videos. We put it on YouTube in a radius. And his mom, of all people, saw it. And so what happened was that she said, hey, honey, I just saw your video on here. And she was playing like this kiddie game or something on there. So what it does is that it reaches a huge broader audience that's outside of Meta, outside of Instagram. That really what it does is that it takes the viewership to another level, and you get a whole bunch of different people and audiences that are now looking at the video that you didn't have before. So and then you can have the descriptions, you have the links, you can promote them. And I think that YouTube is the driving factor behind that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize that YouTube is the number 2 search engine.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. It's not just music videos. It is everything now is on YouTube.
And the other thing about that is that the platforms, the visibility, I mean, it's Google. You got to realize that in the end, YouTube is tied into Google. Mm-hmm. So when you see anything that is on YouTube, you've got the search engine world behind Google, or Google behind YouTube, and you can promote it. You can put it out there to a whole bunch of audiences. Like we were talking earlier, you can put it within that 2-mile radius.
Right.
And it's worked. We've had agents come back and tell us, hey, I had a whole bunch of friends see me. It's like, did you ask for autographs? I mean, that was kind of the thing. And it's been working for others. And I think on an advertising platform, because you got to realize we can upload something to YouTube, but it's then just sits there on YouTube unless people subscribe to our channel. Right. Now, once we promote it out, at that point, then it really goes out to the masses and it gets on multiple channels, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why I think that YouTube is really going to be the way to go. And then any other platform that heavily supports video type content.
Perfect. I totally agree with that. We're going to end today with our 7 random questions, rapid fire. I guess they're not random because I use the same ones every week.
Yeah, and then since I'm in the background, listening to all the podcasts, I've kind of was like, if he asks me
these are the same questions. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Superpower. I think that it would be. At one time, I used to think immortality. But then if other peoples are not immortal, then it becomes a very sad scenario.
Yeah.
But I just think that my superpower really would be to read other people's minds.
Nice. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Unflushed toilets.
Okay.
When I walk into a public restroom, if it's not flushed,
it's gross.
It's immediate. Yeah, nothing.
What was your first job?
Burger King. No, I take that. Well, it was kind of like I did them both at the same time. I was a paper boy in Houston, and it was the Sunday Chronicle was horrible. You could only get 3 or 4 rolled up newspapers in your bag on your bike at a time, yep. And you have to go back to the house, and waking up at 4 a.m. to wrap them and put them in.
Yeah, they don't come like that. You have to put them together.
Yeah, and it sucked. And my dad hated it too because he was always helping me out. But then immediately after that, I went to work at Burger King too. So Burger King was my first job.
Okay. What's your biggest fear?
Wow, it's a personal fear.
That's fine.
My biggest fear really is disappointing people.
Fair. What's the first thing you do in the morning?
Make coffee.
Okay. What makes you happy?
The people who I'm surrounded with. And I think that's, family and friends. The one thing that really right over here, I'm literally in our production studio here that I'm surrounded by people who I can honestly say I have a good time with.
Right.
And that we mess with each other. Our audio engineer is my son, and so, the fact that we all get to work together over here, and it is not a job. It is probably, that's really what makes me happy, and just enjoying something that is fun, and making, just making a living at it, I think is really what boils down to just what makes me happy.
Nice. At your funeral, what do you hope people say about you?
He made me laugh.
Excellent.
That's really what it is. That's plain and simple. I was kind of hoping you'd ask me about what I want for my funeral, but no.
No,
because I think I've told you guys.
Yeah.
And you guys, I think it'd be like, ew.
Giorgio Valentini, thank you so much for joining here, being voluntold. We really appreciate your time.
I kind of had a hunch, but then all of a sudden it was like, maybe not. And then when you opened up the door saying, welcome our special guest, I was like,
Yeah,
So,
it was planned out very well.
It was very good. Kudos to all of you guys who can hold a secret.
Grant knew like an hour ago, so.
No wonder he wasn't making eye contact with me for about an hour ago. Do you know who it is, noob?
I'll just finish up with this. And I didn't technically lie. Anytime you asked me, I think you said, do they work here? And that was the only place I had to be on a gray line a little bit. Or you said, do they work here? And I said, no. And in my defense, I've never actually seen you work. So, I mean, I see you typing on the computer, but the way your office is, I've never seen you design a graphic. I've never seen you. I just see you typing away.
Everything just magically
It
appears.
just happens.
It just happens.
I've never seen you do it.
That's called efficiency, Phil.
And delegation,
It's
right?
delegation. Yeah, exactly.
I
That's
love
what it is.
that.
That's what it is.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Check out us next time, Property Management Uncensored.
Uncensored. Yeah. Hey, check it out. It's on YouTube and all the podcast channels.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot.